Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everyone. We're here for our NCAP show of the week. Thank you so much for joining me on this Cabral Concept. It is our Friday review where I bring you two research studies that I think are applicable in your own life or with some loved ones, people that you do know that may be suffering from these particular issues. Some fixes that you may want to take a look at. We also go through our herb of the week every single Friday. I've got a great one for you today, really inexpensive one, and one that, well, a lot of people may want to be looking into. We do our either book review or product review every single Friday. I've got a fun old school book for you to review and check out. Maybe you buy it, maybe you never do, but I always like to give you a little bit of the book review of the week. And what else am I going through? I am going through the podcast recap of the week and a little bit of what is going on here and now. So let's get into that right now. So this week, and I'm recording this just a couple days before, and I'm excited about that because this is our summer functional medicine detox week. But more importantly than that, this is where we come together as a community. You can see everybody at cabralsupportgroup.com, totally free group for you to join, ask questions, cheer other people on around the world. And it's really amazing because you're talking about thousands of people all over the world, all in 1 week, doing our functional medicine detox together. So it's really a lot of fun. And when you're going through and really enjoying the autophagy process of days 1 and 2, that you know that there's thousands and thousands of people all over the world saying, hey, I'm right there alongside you. I'm doing this as well. And we're doing it for our overall health and wellness and longevity. And some people are doing it for weight loss. And so it's a great week to come together. I love it. We do it every 12 weeks. This is our one before the summer. You can, of course, do your detox anytime you want each season. But I like to pick 1 week and have everyone really come together for that week. So well, now we're on day 5 and hopefully you're doing well. And hopefully you've had a great so far 5 days on the functional medicine detox and have been checking in. If you've never heard about a functional medicine detox, I'd love to share with you a completely free course on it at equi.life, equi.life/detox course. Completely free. Check it out. I just wrote up a new article on it. It has somewhere around like a dozen new studies on how a functional medicine detox works and how it works in the body. Because a lot of people, again, I totally understand that some people confuse it with like a cleanse or teas or anything that's more marketing based. But no, this is something that helped me tremendously when I was younger. And I started using it in my practice around 2010 and I've had just phenomenal success with it. So that is that. You can check out exactly the detox I'm doing right now as well at stephencabral.com/detox. And what I want to share with you too is because it's happening this week, I always give my book away now for free. So many of you have read The Rain Barrel Effect. What I want you to know is that anytime someone goes to stephencabral.com, they can always get that book for free now. I pay $8, just a little over $8 to actually print that book. It's a 400-page book. It's got over 40 different images in it. We really try to make it engaging as possible, very conversational, not like a, standard written book. I just try to, as if you were sitting across the desk from me. That's really what, how I try to make it. Or we were sitting down together and you were asking questions and I was explaining. That's how I always wanted it to be. And that's what it is. And so we pay a little over $8 to print the book. And we ask that people in the US, $7.95 for shipping. And so that's what we do. So literally every single day, it's half price. Again, you don't have to pay for it. You just pay for the shipping. But this week we are giving away the book free, even the shipping, over at stephencabral.com/ shop. StephenCabral.com/shop. That'll take you over to Equalife. And with all qualifying purchases, we'll even pay for the shipping. So check that out. Again, pick up whatever you might need, whether it is your full spectrum magnesium, your advanced collagen support, your daily nutritional support, your daily fruit and vegetable blend, your daily omegas, whatever it might be. And then add a free copy of the book. You'll get that added to your cart. And then just give it away. If you already have a copy, we would love to just be able to continue to spread the message of hope and healing throughout the world. All right, little podcast recap for the week. On Monday, hopefully you didn't miss this one. This was a fun one to record for you. Become okay with being misunderstood. Now, before I even got to that point, I kind of gave you a big interlude on why you need to get to that place in the first place. You have to get there. And so I gave you kind of a how to get there. And then just understanding again, when you're on a different path in life, you're going to be misunderstood and why that may be okay. So definitely check that out. That's our Motivation and Mindset Monday. That's our most popular category. It's amazing that I even debated about putting in the Mindset and Motivation Monday when I was first starting the Cabral concept, because of course, my practice is as a doctor of naturopathy. And that's what I've done. It's truly an integrative health practitioner, meaning I'll take from whatever works because I have no dogma. What I care about is the people that I work with and the people my team work with. And so we're just looking for the absolute best and safest way to help people. That's it, from an underlying root cause level, not from masking the symptoms. But, people need motivation and they need the mindset to be able to even get there in the first place and to persevere when the going gets tough. And that's why I created that, because it helped me so much. I've read hundreds, if not 1,000 self-improvement books. Again, I always say not 1,000, but I probably read a good 300 self-improvement books. And it helped me tremendously. And now I just try to pass on those teachings, of course, to many others. All right. The next podcast of the week was Hidden Places to Find Mold. Definitely check out that show. That was 23-28. Then it was 7 signs of a slow metabolism and how to boost it. Definitely check that out as well. Those signs can sneak up on you, so you want to check them out before you get all 7. If you have 1 or 2, all right, start now. And then yesterday was a case study on aging too fast. If you're feeling fatigue and low mood and depression or muscle loss or wrinkles or sagging skin, check out this show and one simple marker to be testing for. All right, so that was yesterday. Now let's go over our book review of the week before we do our herb of the week. And the reason is that I don't even know how I found this book. I really have literally no idea. This is from a PhD in history from Yale University, so not even in the health field. And it was written quite some time ago. I have the 1986 printing of this book. I'll share with you in just a moment. But when was it originally printed? It's a great question. This was the 10th printing. So who even knows when it started? I don't have the exact date here, but it could even be written in the 60s and 70s. But here's the thing, when it was first printed. Again, I have the 86th edition. Okay, so the book is called Never Satisfied. If you're watching this on video, you can see it. Old school version of this with kind of the weighted scale that someone is stepping on. And it's called A Cultural History of Diets, Fantasies, and Fat by, and I apologize if I pronounce this incorrectly, Halil Schwartz. And this book, it's a strange book. It really is. It's written in a humorous tone, and it really goes through throughout the ages, going back hundreds and hundreds of years, to people's obsession with their weight and trying to find the perfect diet, and really all of the fads that have taken place, mainly, again, we're talking about 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, and now 2000s. But this book obviously was published before the 2000s. Not much has changed, though. That's the crazy thing, is that, and again, I don't want to give away the whole book in case you do want to read this book, but essentially what it comes down to is, one, we should not be obsessed with being thin. We want to reach a healthy goal weight. And also at the same time is that every time a diet is shared with you, espouted, marketed to you that pushes too far in any one direction, it's almost always wrong, and that's proven out about a decade to 2 decades later. So don't wait for it to be proven incorrectly. That really there's one human diet, and that is get as close to whole food nutrition as humanly possible, and do not go too far in one direction. So that means that you want to look at, if your diet is almost all fat, it's going to be wrong. If it's almost all protein, it's going to be wrong. If it's literally all carbohydrates, then it's going to be wrong. And if there's no fruits and vegetables in there, it's going to be wrong. And so it's like, we already know this. It's just we kind of have to relearn it every, let's say, 10 years. Like right now, keto and carnivore are popular. And again, those will always work. It's not that they don't. I've been doing this since the late 90s, helping people transform their bodies. And it really came down to having a lower carbohydrate diet. But that's not the solution in the long run. Like that helps you get ready for a bodybuilding show, a fitness show, a figure competitor show, or losing weight. But what you can't do is not be able to regulate the reasons of why you can't handle carbohydrates properly. And then it's also understanding like how much energy do you need from these foods. So tough to explain in one single podcast, but I certainly have many nutrition-based podcasts. You can just go to stevencabral.com/2331, and I'll link up my whole category on nutrition-based shows. But it was a fun read. It's out of print right now, so there's not going to be a lot of copies, but I wanted to share that with you because I love reading old books as well. And this was just a fun aside, and I certainly didn't know a lot of this information from like back in the 1800s and early 1900s. And they put in some like, crazy photos. If you're watching this right now on video, you'll see this woman holding like an exercise band in a slimming corset in order to promote, some product or exercise in general. And then he starts to like end the book with, you should basically be eating the things that you don't like to eat. And it's kind of funny because, again, there's humor infused in it. But it's like, well, when people love to eat all red meat, then, of course, they're going to be more drawn to a carnivore-based diet, right? And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It has this, 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 and this. And again, I'm not saying you can't eat any red meat. But what I'm saying is like we're often drawn to exactly what we want to be eating. So if someone loves carbohydrates, well, they're going to love the carbohydrate diet. And so it's just something to think about. Again, I try to keep an open mind, and I hope that I hope that you do, and I hope that my colleagues do as well. So we don't get ever too dogmatic about one specific way of nutrition. All right, so let's get into now our herb of the week. The herb of the week is one of my favorites, and I realized I haven't talked about this in potentially years. How crazy is that? And it is Psyllium Husk. This is a product that has been around, well, forever, because psyllium is a natural fiber-based product, and it's one that I've used, again, just for so long. Not only do I think it's such an amazing product I'll give you all the reasons in a moment. We put in a very small amount in our daily nutritional support. We use it in our intestinal cleanse product. And the reason we do it is because it's literally one of the best products that are going to help with overall heart health, blood sugar, even help with blood pressure. It helps with bowel movements and regularity. So if you're too constipated, it helps. If you have loose stool, it helps. Like it's amazing for the overall intestines to add bulk. So basically, what are the top causes of mortality? Well, cardiovascular issues, blood pressure and stroke, and blood sugar issues, besides cancer we're talking about, right? Well, it helps with all of those. Okay, so I think now I have to give you my disclaimer. I cannot provide you with any medical treatment plans, any medical advice, any medical cures, or any medical diagnosis. But all of these things are clinically proven. And again, just type in, if you want to Dr. Google yourself, just go to Psyllium Husk and cardiovascular benefits, Psyllium Husk and blood sugar benefits, Psyllium Husk and weight loss benefits. Like it helps with weight loss because it helps with regularity, and it helps with, again, glucose and inflammation in the body. So it's a very powerful product. But I want to give you a couple other notes on it. So Psyllium Husk is a gentle prebiotic as well. So again, we have a very small amount in the daily nutritional support. So even people on our CBO protocol are totally fine using it. But if you want to use a higher dose, so what's a higher dose? About 3 to 4 grams a day. Some people may take more, and that will help with a lot of these particular issues that I'm talking about. And it will add more beneficial, well, it's not bacteria, but it's going to add beneficial, we'll call it food, for the healthy bacteria in your gut. So after you go through the CBO protocol, and maybe you're still dealing with a couple issues, you might want to add 3 or 4 grams to your meals. And you're welcome to take it in capsule form, or you can take it as a powder. The only thing that I want to warn you about is I don't recommend a lot of the brands at a pharmacy or big food store, place like that. And the reason is that they're often putting flavors in. Okay, they're putting fillers in. You really just want a product that says organic psyllium husk. That's it. I mean, that's really all you're looking for. It's plain, it's simple, super easy. You can use it as mix it in a tall glass of water. Or again, my kind of public service announcement is whenever you take psyllium husk, it has to be with a tall glass of water. Okay, or again, your smoothie or your large herbal tea, however you want to do it. But what it does is it expands. It actually becomes almost like a gel-like substance. And so you want to make sure that you're just getting a lot of water with it. Never put a scoop in your mouth and then swallow down water. You could potentially choke on it. That goes for most powders. Don't spoon powder into your mouth. I've seen too many people choke on it. It's not ideal at all. So again, big fan of it. Is it right for every single person in the world? No, of course not. Right? Nothing is. And so I just want to share with you that great soluble fiber and really good for digestion and for the bigger causes of mortality. So check it out. And I can't link up, any supplements on my podcast pages per FDA regulations. And so as always, of course, you can just go to stevencabral.com/shop, and you'll be able to find the daily nutritional support or intestinal cleanse, and you can get started there. But also you can just get a straight psyllium husk powder at your favorite local natural health food store, support local stores, and or your integrative health practitioner or naturopathic doctor. You got it. All right. So that's our herb of the week. I have 2 research studies that I had to bring you because I found them really interesting. I'll give you the one on omegas in just a moment, and I'm going to give you the one on coffee right now. So coffee consumption linked to reduced risk of acute kidney injury. Study finds. So this is just published, literally Johns Hopkins Medicine, very reputable, published June 2nd, 2022. And here, I'm going to give you I'm going to link it up, of course, all the research. I always do that for you. But I want to give you the excerpt in case you don't want to read it. So they found that people that drank 2 to 3 cups a day of coffee, now we're talking about 8-ounce cups, okay? So if you get a Starbucks coffee or you get whatever it is that you like, that's typically 2 cups, right? So a tall coffee is like 12 ounces, I think, not 16. So that's a cup and a half. So again, but it's also super caffeinated at Starbucks. So let's take Starbucks out of the equation. If you just make a normal cup of coffee at home, it's usually like 180 to 200 milligrams or so maximum for that 12-ounce cup. And you really don't want to go over, in my opinion, 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine a day. 300 is typically considered that upper limit. And here's the interesting thing, that kidney function is so important as you start to get older, because your kidneys are really, I don't want to say the last line of defense, but your liver gets first crack at things, but then your liver will allow things to still be in your bloodstream. And then it forces your kidneys to do the filtration. And that's a hard thing, because the kidneys are not meant to filter a lot of these big things that are left there. So what happens? Well, it can change oxygen levels, pH levels. It can start to affect the rest of the body because inflammation begins to build up. We start to retain more water, puffiness, edema. So here's the thing, that this was actually a remarkable study. So those who drank any quantity of coffee had a 15% lower chance of AKI. So that's like 1 cup a day. But if you had 2 to 3 cups a day, you decreased your kidney, acute kidney injury by 22 to 23%. So we'll basically say by like a quarter. I mean, that's pretty fantastic. So I thought was important. Median age of the study, by the way, was 54 years old. This was done on over 14,000 people. And it did look at body mass. It looked at antihypertensive medications, all those things. And even those people who were like more prone still had 11% lower risk. I mean, again, I thought this was a remarkable study because so many people are already drinking coffee. But here's the thing why I wanted to share this with you. Not that you should go out and necessarily start drinking coffee. They don't know why it occurred. And that's the amazing thing that's why I try to tell people that we need these fruits and vegetables in our diet because we don't always know how they're working. And by the way, coffee is from a coffee bean. You can consider it a fruit if you wanted to, like different people categorize it in different ways, but it's natural, right? Like it's there. We can't go overboard on the caffeine side of it because it can affect the thyroid, the hypothalamus, pituitary adrenals, and so much more. But I won't get into that today. I have lots of studies on that. So here's what I want to share with you. They don't know why. They believe it might be tied to caffeine, but they don't know. It could also be tied to the actual antioxidants and phytonutrients in coffee itself, because there's been plenty of studies that show that decaf coffee helps because of its antioxidants as well. So they're going to study this on tea. They're going to study it in other modalities as well. I'd say you're probably going to be okay if you're doing green tea as well. I think you probably get a lot of the benefits, but I just wanted to share that with you because I think that if you're doing it right and you're not over caffeinating, that having a coffee may be okay for your health. 1 to 2 cups, do it before noon. If you get anxiety or jitters or anything like that, then it's not right for you. That's for sure. I've talked about that in the past. Have it after a meal, not before a meal, because of how it affects the nervous system. But I think that there could be a time and place. But again, remember, coffee is a supplement. For all these people saying that supplements are bad and all that because they have their own dogma, you have to understand is you're supplementing. You are, because there's no way you'd get that in nature. So hopefully this helps. I wanted to share that with you. I've got one more great one. This one's an easy one. I mean, honestly, how many studies have I talked about with the benefits of omega-3s, which is why, again, I have to share with you that you have to understand is that as long as you're using functional medicine-based brands of supplements, you're going to get tremendous benefit that is very difficult to replicate with just food alone because you're taking a bigger dosage that you would really get in food. So let me give you an example. 3 grams of omega-3 fatty acids may lower blood pressure. And this was just published on June 1st, American Heart Association. And let me just give you the details. It showed that omega-3s may be taken by those with higher blood pressure or getting to be higher blood pressure. And this study was done with over 5,000 people. They ranged in age from 22 to 86, and they took these for an average of 10 weeks. What they found was that at 3 grams per day, it lowered the systolic blood pressure by about 5 points. And it lowered on average 5 points, well, 4.5. So keep in mind, that would take someone from like a 135 or 140 down another 5 points, getting them way, back in the healthier range. I want to give you a couple interesting points around this. They didn't do anything else. That's why this study is significant. They didn't change their diet. They didn't start to exercise. They didn't sleep better. They just took omega-3s and they got that benefit. Now imagine if you added a little bit of produce, fruits and vegetables, intermittent fasting, walking 10,000 steps a day. I mean, this is how you change your life. But we can start with one thing that all you have to do is literally pop 3 soft gels in your mouth or 1 tablespoon of daily omega-3 and you're good to go, right? And so that's why we know these things are powerful. But I wanted to share one more point with you because when people took 5 grams a day of fish oil of omega-3s, although they got the decline, it was not more impressive than at 3 grams per day. That's why you don't need to over supplement with mega doses. We always recommend 2 grams a day of omega-3s of the daily omega-3 support. But in this study, 3 grams was more beneficial. Now, we use 3 grams as well for about 12 to 16 weeks for certain populations of people, and then we lower it to 2 grams, which is a great maintenance-based dose. Again, you can find the products we use at stephencabral.com/shop, and you can just type in omega-3. However, you can always work with your qualified integrative health practitioner. You can work with your naturopathic doctor. But just remember that anybody who tells you that there's no science behind this, not only are they wrong, it's actually dangerous dangerous information because this could help so many people. So hopefully this was helpful. And again, for those people who want to get it from food, great. But every single day, you'd have to eat about 5 ounces of wild salmon to get that 3 grams. So you can still do it through food if you want, and you are welcome to. But also, people don't always want to pay $30 per pound for wild salmon. So again, I'm just sharing that with you. Again, you can do what you feel is right for you, but my job is to help millions of people around the world. If some people can afford to eat an $18 or $15 piece of salmon every single night as just one part of it, great. But a lot of people just want a $1 a day, nutritional supplement that can also be beneficial. So again, however you want to take this, you should. But again, this information is powerful because this is clinically verified science. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into the show. I appreciate you. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll be back tomorrow with our Cabral House Calls. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.